Hi there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargaming Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the Wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. Shows usually consists of a lot of painting and a whole lot of what's under the sun. For anybody who's not used to that kind of crazy random type format, well, you know, too bad because I'm not changing it. So I can see a lot of the monkeys already showing up today. I can see Mark Hill. Hi guys, hi Kris. Ishyab011. Another day at the monkey farm. Hello all. Well, hello, Ishyab. Ross Dealey, 30 minutes ago. I guess this is before the show started. Ross Dealey, spooky. Why is it spooky? Lazy Monkey. Howdy, Kris and everyone. Howdy. Knitfink. Hello, everyone. Hello, Knitfink. Balefire Forge. Hello. Hello. Robert Gould. Hey, monkeys. Jim White. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Painting to the smooth sound of Kris's pleasing voice speaking. Pleasing voice speaking or pleasing speaking voice? I don't know. It's one or the other, I think. Who else we got in here? Tolo, episode 105. Good morning. Dr. Williams. Hey, everybody. Louis Wilmole? Mole? Probably saying that last name wrong. Willie Mole? Now I'm really butchering it. I'll just say Lewis. Good evening, everyone. Good evening must be in Europe. Because evening. Good evening. Because it's noon here in North America. Well, in eastern side of the continent. Pacific side, still early in the morning. Raven Falls. Hey, people. Back from my first part of Basic. Well, welcome back. And hopefully that wasn't too grueling on yourself. Kurt Krishon. Wow, a lot of people here already. Good morning, all. Raven Falls. Feels weird not having my Sarge or Kerbals not giving me orders. Not barking at you the whole time. Dave Taylor. Hello, monkeys. Hello. Lucian Villasenor. I'll say Villasenor. I'm sure he's been here many times, and I'm probably messed up that name. I don't know how many times either. Morning, Kris. Morning. Totem Lord. Hello, everyone. Dr. Santos. There he is. Lee Welton. Hey, everyone. You got a Legion Vindicator, Mark III Missile Launcher Squad, and a Betrayal Cal Terminators to go. What is everyone else painting or building? Interesting. It's a lot. Everybody's doing the pre-heresy stuff these days, huh? Everybody's got the 30K bug. I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, like, you know, like some people might remember back in the day when, you know, they kept simplifying the rules. The rules kept getting more and more simplified, sped up, you know, things like that, right? To the point eventually where people were making the jokes that everybody was just going to be playing Space Marines and everybody's armies are going to be the same because Space Marines is just going to be red versus blue kind of thing, right? And yet here we are with 30K. Everybody's, you know, jumping on board and everybody's digging it. And essentially, isn't it just Space Marine on Space Marine? Like, it's just, the game is just Space Marines on Space Marines. Now, mind you, the Space Marines all have, you know, different kind of flavors to them, but still, it's all, you know, it's all the same. It's just kind of interesting. It's not a knock or anything like that against 30K because I do like the 30K stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting that the game hadn't become simplified, that another game, a supplement, had kind of come out, and everybody gravitates towards that. And because it's essentially just kind of a simplified version of the game. Mind you, it's telling, it's more like a historical kind of game where it's telling the history, and everybody loves the background to the Horus Heresy, and so yeah, I guess that's the other part of the draw, right? Everybody loves the background. Dr. Zanto, so what have people been working on? I got my Storm Raven primed and working more Imperial assault models, scout troopers washed, so 14 to 32 done. Ouch. That's a lot of duders, dude. Duders, dude. Duders. Duder, dude. Rablo, hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. Lucian, assembling a Legion Seeker Squad. Rablo, been working on some old school Eldar Warlocks. I like some of the old school Eldar Warlocks. Not the ones so much, like, okay, my least favorite Eldar model, well, one of my least favorite Eldar model, is the Farseer with the big Bullwinkle horns. He's got the two things coming off his head. He looks like a big bull, like it looks like a moose. Yeah, that's my least favorite sculpt of Eldar. Off the top of my head, I can think of. Yeah, that's one that's like, no, I would never have that one in my army. Hey, you get off my lawn. Lewis, still working on my Purple Blood Bowl Orc team. I was so excited for that. I seen there's more promo stuff for the Blood Bowl stuff coming out until 2017. It's kind of a shame. Got to wait a whole other year. But it'll be worth it, I think. I think it'll be worth it. Because the sculpts just they're so detailed. And they look so cool. And I'm hoping that, they take their time with it. And every player on your team is a different sculpt. I'm hoping that each one is a different sculpt. Because that'd be really, really cool. Isaac Neal, never fear, the king is here. That's me. Rob Lowe will be back in 45. See you guys. Okay. The Balefire Forge. Hey, Kris and everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Crap, this thing jumped on me again. Silly comments. Kevin Eyes is joining us today. Max Pedersen. Hey, want me to send you some pics of Terminators I'm working on? Well, yeah, please do. Please send pics. Always send me emails. Always. I like getting emails. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Vlad Tepe. Hey, everyone. Long time no see. Kilo 8878. Oh my God, I almost forgot. What? What'd you almost forget? What is his name? Parker Gray joining us. Geez, where the heck am I in these comments here? Okay, here we go. Model Loft, there's another name I don't think I've read before. Model Loft. The Balefire Forge and Kris, thanks for answering my sit and talk question. I sent you an email. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, right. And I did catch that. About intros, doing intros. Yeah, we will have to talk about that one. Nakath Archon. Hello, Kris. Hello, all. Hello. Kurt Krishon. Learning airbrushing. Yesterday, I finished a Forge World Exalted Vermin Lord. Did a handful of Bones minis. And today, doing more of the Norse Guard Wolfen. And I think we all remember the Norse Guard because he sent the email, showed what those guys look like. Look pretty darn cool sculpts. Learning airbrushing. Airbrushing. Very cool. You enjoying it so far, I hope. It's really not that hard. It's really just about, knowing the consistency of your paint, knowing the PSI, and, just keeping the airflow and just working, if you're using a dual action, airflow, paint release, it's just another tool to get used to. I mean, if you already have, artistic tendencies, you'll fly right through it right away. It's no problem. And away you go, Ross Dealey, yep, painting up some grotesques at the moment. Tolo, Kris, you didn't say the intro right. It is like a radio station. What? 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 Episode 105 FM. Oh. Where are we? Yeah, so Mass Max, send pictures. Lazy Monkey, I'm sure it's safe, but yeah, I'm sure it's a safe bet that Kris always wants pics. Yes, please, always pics. Always, please send them. Feel free. Man, chat keeps kind of flying all over on me. It's all over the place. Macy Kufu? That can't be the way that I say that name. Macy Kufu? Yeah, I probably butchered that name already. Anyway, hello. Robert Gould, Paul 0132, Idic Beer. No, it's Idic. Is it Idic or IDIC? I can never remember. Idic. You dick, I dick. They all dick. Where am I? David Taylor, Kris, any ideas on the next start to finish? Also, when is the new paint teacher starting? Ideas for the next start to finish? I have not really given it much thought because I've been just kind of consumed with the doing the pre-heresy color schemes. Although we're getting to the point now where with the pre-heresy schemes, some of them are going to be kind of redundant. For example, Dark Angels, Raven Guard, and Iron Warriors. Their color schemes are all pretty much the same. Blood Angels is pretty much the same, right? But as far as the beginning ends, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, with the pre-heresy stuff though, yeah, I'm still going through that because I know if I stop now, then people are gonna keep pestering about, well, how do you do this one? 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 So I gotta get them done. And as far as our new painting teacher, she should be starting soon. We had just gotten her a package of graphics and stuff like that, so that because she'll be editing and she'll be working remotely, and so yeah. And we already got all the graphics, so all she got to do is edit them up, repost them, and yeah, we'll start scheduling them then. I have no idea though, because I don't handle the scheduling, so that's all Matt. Matt handles that, and yeah, because all I do is I make the videos, and I throw them up into the server, and that's it. And it's gone. I've forgotten all about it by that point, and then I go off and work on my next thing, and yeah. Steve Cox at Kris, watching the show Painting Vulcan and wondering if you have any tips on doing the scales, like the sculpted scales or drawing the scales. Which do you mean, Steve? Because if there's the sculpted scales, then you're best doing kind of a light dry brushing. If you're talking about drawing the scales, then yeah, it's going to take a bit of time and a bit of patience and practice. And there's a couple ways you can do with the scales. Really, you can kind of do them like diamond patterns, and then you can kind of just round the bottoms off, or you can do them like basically making like a little M shapes or W shapes, excuse me, across the surface, and you just kind of create these little lines. It's just like you're just writing, a U or a W, or you know what I mean, and you're just going across and across and across, and you just keep doing that, and then you can highlight the bottom ends and do it that way. But yeah. Man, I didn't know what this was. Clyde Fried? Clyde Fried 007 at Kris. Dude, your painting is awesome. It's something to aspire to. I'm trying out lots of your techniques. Please do some Infinity tutorials. Yeah. We haven't had that abundance of Infinity models flying around anymore since we kind of like stopped doing Infinity. I don't know. Well, I guess I don't know if we stopped doing it or if we're just kind of just dropped it from the schedule or what. I don't even know if there's any Infinity models around. But yeah, definitely try and get some more of those done, because I know a lot of people have a lot of difficulties about like the sloping armor and all the panel lines and things like that. So I know a lot of people would like to see those tutorials. Mass Max Pedersen. Wish I had the Badger 105 70 millimeter tip. It's double price here in Denmark. By the way, this is COC Mass. Oh, okay. Well, Mass. Good to see you. What is your deal?
I'm just like bugging you.
Why?
Because it's fun.
Do I interrupt you while you're doing stuff?
Yeah, all the time.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You walk in.
Okay, I was gonna plug his channel, but now hell with him.
You're a jerk.
Where am I? Model off.
Plug my channel.
So it's all about you, you plug. Model off. Hey, Kris. By the way, that was Quirk. If anybody didn't catch that, I don't know why. All the time, I think I might have to start shutting my door, because all the time people walking by and everybody wants to make faces, and I don't know if they think they're being funny or what, but I don't know. Hi, Kris. Yes, only found out about your vids a few weeks ago. First time watching live. Well, welcome, Model Off. Ben Ossick. So mini wargaming is no longer a sausage fest. Well, if you go back a few weeks in mini wargaming's videos, like in the free videos, because you had seen like various painters posting videos like for free. I think you'll get who we have on, who we've hired now. So, and I fully support it, and yeah, she's a good painter, and she speaks clearly, and I'm sure she has a ton to offer as far as her painting experience and what she can pass on to other people. So yeah, I think she'll work out great. Dr. Williams, here. Dave Taylor. I think the girl was the best of those test run tutorials you guys did. Yeah, she was. She all around. And the thing is that she also had a nice gallery that you could go and check out, and you see her previous work. Whereas a lot of the other people that we were looking at, they sent us videos and stuff like that, but like there wasn't any other examples of what their work was like versus hers. We could see more of what she was capable of, and even like her conversion work and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really good. Lazy monkey. She's working remotely, so the office is still sausage central. Yes, the office is still sausage central, although it's more like I don't know. I can't quite say what it's like when you have this many dudes locked up into an enclosed space trying to get work done. Well, trying to still have fun, but trying to get work done. I don't know what kind of environment that is, but it's pretty silly at days. I can't. Basically, it ends up just being a lot of picking on Quirk and stuff like that, I think. Making Steve get grossed out. Yeah. Dr. Williams, has anyone ever used a Vallejo liquid mask? How hard is it to remove once done? It's not hard at all. In fact, you just got to be careful not to lay it on too thick. You can it's good to put one generous coat down rather than, like 3 or 4 light coats. In my experience, there's nothing wrong with laying a heavy coat down. It's just that when you start to lay too much down, the edges kind of go overlapping onto, some of the areas that you might not want to have masked off. But otherwise, no, it's really easy to take off. I mean, your corner of your fingernail, Heck, you can use an eraser, like from on the end of a pencil. Oftentimes, I end up using little dental picks and use that and just kind of catch that corner, and then you just kind of pull it, and it just kind of comes right off in one shot. But yeah, I've used it many times. Where is it? Where's my liquid mask? Oh, it's over there. Never mind. It's way over in the corner. But yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. And Vallejo's liquid mask is pretty good. There are other companies out there who produce liquid mask, but I do like Vallejo's. Just got a really strong smell to it, but it's good. Just don't sit there and huff it or anything like that, because you'll die. Jim White, a quirky interruption again. Yeah, I know. I mean, I might like, short of having him either sit his ass down here or shutting that door. Either is the only way that it'll satisfy the little imp that is Quirk. Why? I don't know, but yeah. Or just kicking the crap out of him. One of the two. Just, get those little whippet sticks. Let's just smarten him up a little bit. Just tune him up. Aaron Oglinsk. Anyway. And Kris, you were talking about themes for Eldar Craft Wars during your sit and talk. What about, what would my mirror be? My mirror? Geez, that would be, man. I don't know, because see, like when you get into the Corsair armies are really, really, like, good, like, dumb, like, good dumb. They're sick, awesome, right? What kind of theme would it be? I don't know. Like my mirror, because my mirror is the fluff is they were lost and then they're back and everybody thought they were dead and they're still alive, and so I don't know. Bring in everything that Corsair army can bring. You know what I mean? The Wraith Knights, the Wraith, what is it? The Wraith Seer. All those really kind of unique kind of units, bring in those. But the Corsair jet bikes, I mean, like, way more gun options. Even the foot troopers, I mean, have great options. The Corsair army, like, I've really seriously considered kind of like creating another Eldar faction and just going Corsairs. I don't know if I'd do them Samhan colored or like maybe black red or something like that. I'm kind of torn as to what I would like to do for them. But something really kind of flashy, though. Louis and David. She also had a different style. Yep. The Deblet. Yay, catching away the brush. Yay, there's the Deblet. Haven't read that name in a while. Dave Taylor. Some of the guys look very similar to your style. Sure. Well, I mean, like my style, I mean, I have a particular style, I suppose, because some people can tell my painting from other people's, which I guess means that I do have a style, and that's how I paint. I really don't see it, but apparently that's the way it is. And the other one is, I can't think of now. Oh, is that I used to really be inspired by Mike McVeigh's early painting guides and stuff like that for Games Workshop. And so a lot of my painting is inspired and mirrors a lot of the techniques and a lot of the things that he did. And so, yeah, that's why, I still like bright color schemes on my models because, I mean, Mike McVeigh back in the day, that's all the color schemes were bright and colorful. And, yeah. So that's probably one of the biggest influences on my painting is Mike McVeigh when he was doing work for Games Workshop. Parker Gray, best part of last week's video was you taking down Quark. Should be how you end every video. Just randomly just punch Quark. Just have him like that chain and then just have him like kind of like thing. No, that's just kind of too weird. I think if that were the case. I mean, completely different kind of show, I think, altogether, if that were the case. It's just that would be fun though. It'd be very releasing, cathartic. Jim White. Yes, I believe he's butchering the spelling. Yeah, well, that's what I do, right? Really, really, Foster? Wow, that's a name and a half. Ray? No, it's Rayleigh? Rayleigh Foster? Am I even saying that right? Anyway, hey Kris, my compressor, Testers Aztec Compact, doesn't seem to like the regulator that I put on it. When I turn it on, the pin just flicks really fast on the 0 mark. WTF. The pin flicks really fast on the 0 mark. Now, is the regulator designed for that particular model? Does it sound like a lot of air is escaping? Because if there's a lot of air escaping, then the fittings might be improper. If the fitting's right, but it still sounds like there's air, like even if you got it screwed on and it still sounds like maybe there's air escaping, you'll probably have to pick up some gasket tape or the Teflon tape, wrap the threads of it, and then re-screw it back on, and then that should give you Rayleigh. Okay, Rayleigh. Sorry. And then hopefully screw that on. But if it's not what Testers sells like for that compressor, then I'm not entirely sure exactly why that would, unless of course it's a faulty regulator. It's also a possibility, even if it's brand new, it could be faulty. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say if it's not a Testers brand compressor. I mean, most of the fittings on these compressors, they're all fairly universal. Like a lot of them, you can share across other compressors. But yeah, as far as that regulator goes, if it's just constantly just tapping back and forth, it could be broke. Could be faulty. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. I'm sure it's probably not a huge amount of help, but yeah. Bet I was sick. I just watched that vid. I agree, she was the best. I skipped that one when it came out because I have no need to make icicles. Yeah, unfortunately, that video, we wanted to see some painting. She gave us that one, and we're like, well, but it's not quite what we're looking for. But again, we delved deeper into what she could do, and so we, and she can paint well. So that was first and foremost, because teaching somebody, how to create these tutorials, that's not the hard part. The hard part is the person having the skills as well as having, the personality to teach other people. And that's the hard part. And that's why, we always have a hard time, finding good tutorial people, right? Paul at Kris, you have to charge for that kind of show. Yeah, for having a gimp on a chain. Yeah, we're not doing that. Totem Lord, Kris, I believe it's email time, and Totem Lord, you might be correct. Drewski, there he is. Drewski, good morning, monkeys, and the great monkey lord. Really, it's a mastercraft, not made for it, but I'll try tape. Yeah, if it's fitting on, like if you put the regulator on, and you're still hearing it sounds like air's escaping, then yeah, the threading might be loose, and so you have to try the Teflon tape and get a tight seal. But otherwise, the regulator could be faulty, and the air, the air stops inside the regulator, and it moves that needle. It could be broke, because if it's just going back and forth, then there could be something broken and the air is just passing through it and it's not doing anything. So again, you might have to replace it. Jorman, the B, it's like Bjorn, I guess. So it's Jornman. Anyway, at Kris, any good way to paint transparent layer with a brush without getting the streaks, like red over lead belcher base to get the metallic look? Or would an airbrush pretty much be required? No. Airbrush just makes it easier and quicker. Doing it by brush can still be done. Again, for example, like if you took lead belcher, although I wouldn't go with lead belcher, I would go with something brighter, like iron breaker or even runefang steel, the brightest, right? And then you took something like Tamiya clear red, not just regular red, clear red. You thin that down with a little bit of alcohol, and you apply it to the model. Now, the tricky part is that Tamiya, I've often found that Tamiya, when you're thinning it down with the alcohol, there's a right little mixture where it'll flow really smoothly, and then it takes a little while to dry, but then it dries, and it just dries like almost like not cloudy, but like it's not quite as bright, and you have to do a couple layers, but it goes on smooth and even, and you don't see any of the brush strokes. Whereas if you take it right out of the bottle and apply it, yeah, you'll see your brush strokes. So you do have to thin it down. If you're using something like Ghost Tint, I have not had any problem applying it by brush and worrying about the brush strokes. So again, you should be able to thin it out just a little bit and apply it that way. I have not tried Forge World's transparent colors. I should pick up a set of those just to do a compare and contrast with Minotaurs. But yeah, so you can do it. You just we gotta thin the color down and apply, and you gotta apply more than one layer. Because again, when you think about it, when you're doing it by airbrush, the airbrush is doing that as well. The airbrush is you're starting the air and you're pulling the hammer back, and a little bit of paint is starting to come out, and so it's like tiny little dots, and it's slowly building up, just kind of like a rainstorm, right? It's just like little drops here and there, and all of a sudden you just keep going, and more and more drops, and it's slowly building up. And that's all an airbrush is doing, except it's doing it really, really fast, but it's slowly building that color up like that. So, yeah. Dave Taylor, lies. I don't know what that's about. Lies. It's all lies. Alucard finally made it. Welcome. Drewski, headshots is the great and wonderful Q. Okay. Lazy Monkey, Gimp on a Chain comes after Swedish Chef tutorials. Or we combine the two and we have the Swedish Chef with the Gimp. There we go. Who's the doo-doo-doo-doo? Kick the Gimp. That's awful. I don't know why. Let's do an email before we head into some sort of strange unknown territory. This is from Jeff. Hey Kris, quick question. What color green would you recommend for Imperial Fists 4th Company? The darker greens just look black from a distance. Oh yeah, I think I've read this before. And I'm not sure what to use for an edge highlight. Right now, I'm thinking Cybright green, but I'm not sure. Any thought? I've read this. I didn't read this email though. Oh, it was on the Sit and Talk. Yeah. It was on the Sit and Talk. Yes, and he was thinking about Cybright green for doing it, and the Cybright green is a good color. I did recommend though. I think in the Sit and Talk that you can go over it with the Caliban green and the Warpstone glow, and you should get a nice effect. If you want more of desaturated, especially if the yellow is quite bright, and you want to go something a little bit more desaturated, Cybright green will be good. And edge highlight that with something like Warboss green, I think it is. Oh, I turned and my knee cracked. Or Strachan green. Strachan green is kind of a nice little pale kind of green. But yeah, or Warboss green. Warboss green's also got a little bit more. But yeah, for the shoulder trims, yeah, because it all depends really. Because if you have more of a brown yellow for the armor, I think the deeper green kind of works. If you have the more orangey yellow, then Cybright green should work, but the deeper green should also work as well. He's concerned about it looking just too black from a distance. Yeah, but it's going to look that way anyway, because you're talking about this really bright source of color. and you have these little thin little areas of a darker color. And it could be blue, it could be green, it could be, even dark red. And at a distance, it'll look black because that yellow dominates to the eye, right? So that could be the pitfall you're falling into here, is that you're looking at it from far away and going, oh man, this is too dark. I gotta go brighter. I gotta go brighter. And that might not be necessarily be the case, that you have to go through, because, it's the eye that makes it look that way, and yeah. Kilo 8878. When are we going to see Drewski in a bat rep again? Drewski moved, didn't he? He moved some distance away. Yeah. So hopefully, Jeff, I did answer that question again, and I don't know if you were watching today, but yeah, and it's wrong most. But yeah. Sorry, again, next email. David Taylor, Kris, I was wondering, how do you decide what colors to use to highlight, edge, etc.? Is there some kind of standard logic behind it, or just experience of painting as so much? A little bit of both. For example, edge highlighting the colors. When you're edge highlighting, okay, typically, because you're highlighting, you're going to go brighter colors, right? Because you're highlighting, you're going up. So everything going brighter. So if you imagine a scale that's just a gray scale, that's just black to white, and then varying tones of gray getting brighter and brighter as you go up, right? You're highlighting. You're putting the high points on the model. When you're deciding the color, well, you can go contrary to what some might think, because, say, for example, take a look at the Alpha Legion color scheme. It's blues, but it has a bright green edge highlight, right? And that throws the eye into seeing the two varying colors, the blue-green and, you know what I mean? And you got to go cyber green and then you go moot green, I believe is the way the color scheme is supposed to work. You go from I think Calor Sky or something, Cantor Blue, Calor, anyway, and you go to moot green, and you can do that blending, or you can do edge highlighting. And so when you're just highlighting the edges, you're always going to go with a brighter color, but you can also go with another color. Like, say, for example, like red, right? Reds, we often go with oranges to go brighter. But you could mix in white into the red and go with more of a pink kind of color and highlight that way. If you add yellows, you're going to go into the oranges. If you add whites, you're going into more of a pinks. Blue, again, you can add greens. You can add purples. You can throw reds into it and and get more of a purple color, and then you add white to it, and you transition between blue and purple through the highlights. There's many different ways to achieve different kinds of effects. Typically, whenever we're edge highlighting, we're simply going with the brighter color of the base tone. So if it's ultramarines, it's Cantor Blue or light blue, and then you go to Teclis Blue, Lothern Blue as your highlights, because those are the same kind of tone of blue, but just add more white to it. Or if you always want to make sure you have an accurate mixture and accurate kind of highlighting color, is you simply take your base color. So say, for example, I had Cantor Blue, and I start adding white to it. And so I go, 3 Cantor Blue to 1 white. And then I go 2 Cantor Blue to 1 white. 1 Cantor Blue to 1 white. And then 1 Cantor Blue to 2 white. You know what I mean? And you can go through the scale like that in the ratios. And you can just work your way through the highlights like that. But yeah, as far as, coming up with kind of crazy kind of color schemes, yeah. Because as you start playing with the colors more and more, you'll find that, because realistically, there is no white or black in nature, right? Like, as far as when you're looking at these colors, they're often more of a natural color. Like, say, for example, like a snake that looks black, it's actually, his scales are they're so dark that they're actually, it's a dark brown, right? And so, but at a distance, it looks black, but It's actually a dark brown. Even like hair, right? Hair. It looks black, but it's really a dark brown. So you can get into all these different varying colors when you start to, stop to think and not use black and white to shade and highlight. And in fact, for say green, it's a lot of fun using reds, which is the complementary color to green. And you get this more neutral tone falling within the shadows. And you'll see it a lot in a lot of orc models. I think you see it in some sort of tank models, stuff like that. And, you get red in those highlights or even orange in those highlights. But, yeah. So, hopefully that helps. Crap, I don't even remember who asked that question. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. I think it was Dave Taylor, right? Dave Taylor, I think, was asking that question. Where are we in these comments? This chat I'm lost in this chat. It's too much stuff has gone by, and these guys are talking about all sorts of craziness. I don't know. Rayleigh, Kris, have you ever, or would you consider doing a game convention appearance? Well, appearance, like if I was asked to appear and talk, no, I have never done that before. I'm open to it, I suppose, but never done it before. I am planning on attending Adepticon this year, so anybody who's going to Adepticon this year, you'll most likely see me wandering around, acting the fool, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't planning on gaming too much. I remember that there was this Titan battle. Everybody just brings a Titan and plays a big game at Adepticon. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll bring my Titan, But then I didn't see it on the roster this year, so I'm not going to bring it unless I'm wrong, and unless anybody knows, if that game is going on, then maybe I will bring my Titan. But otherwise, I'm not going to bring mine. Where am I? Kemanize, I found my newfound painting passion is working with inks. Like to paint with the inks? That's very cool. You adopt a very different kind of color theory when using just inks. So, for example, if you prime with white and you begin to build your color up, and you leave the white as your highlights, and you build the color downwards, and it's a very different thing. I don't know if I've ever shown anything like that on video. It's basically using the CMYK color wheel as opposed to the red, blue, green, red, blue, yellow color wheel. Red, blue, green for light, red, blue, yellow for pigment, and CMYK for print. Those are the color wheels, in case anybody wanted to know. Max. Am I also the only one missing Kris doing his Swedish chef impression? I thought it was commanded through the mini Wargaming chain of command. No, I told you, man. Matt's got to buy the costume. There is a costume for wearing thing and and yeah, but he didn't want to buy it, so I ain't doing it. And that was Halloween, dudes. Wasn't it? Yeah, that was Halloween. Man, like we're getting into Valentine's Day here. Geo 10002002. Kris, I love you. Well, thank you, Geo. Isvor, who loves Kris the most? Tonor, me. His mother. That's Drewski. His mother. Geo, how would you potentially highlight large sections in khaki bone color, pure white mixed with the bone khaki? Yeah, well, okay, yeah, you're gonna build up to a white from that khaki bone color, but it's entirely up to you as to how many layers of transition you want to put in there. Because if you're gonna go with just those two colors, okay, and if you're comfortable with wet blending, then you could wet blend those colors together. If you're more comfortable with layering, and putting layers down, then you can go say, 2 or 3 khaki or bone to 1 white, and then 2 bone to 1 white, and then 1 bone to 1 white, right? Of course, by that point, you really don't see too much difference between the bone and the white colors. And so, yeah, you can pretty much just edge it in just white from that point forward. You could glaze it, of course. You could take like a mixture of 1-to-1 of bone and white, thin it down to a glaze, build up to the edge, and then edge it with white, and you'd get a really nice transition going there. But yeah, that's really kind of the easiest ways to go about highlighting from a bone to a white. Other than, getting some real contrast in there is shading, a little bit darker browns into some like connecting points or anything like that. But yeah, so hopefully, Geo, that helps. Ruinbane E. Kris, the Wolfen models are going to the Wolfen models. Are you going to do a tutorial? I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe one model, but I don't know about doing like a whole bunch. Because I mean, you do one, you've done them all, right? You don't have to see a whole unit done to understand how to do the unit. You just do one, and you got to apply it to all 5. But yeah, possible. It's possible. It's entirely possible. Like I said, like I said earlier, I'm not entirely sure exactly what will be the next beginning to end, but I don't bother. Jim White at Kris. What do you wish the highlight of Adepticon would be for you? I don't know. I've never been, so I have no idea. I have no idea. Just to have a ton of fun. And again, chance, shake hands. Some of you guys who might be watching and are going to be going. I have no idea. Nobody said if they're going or not, so I have no idea. But yeah. Ben Osick, Kris, here's an idea. Time-lapse video of you painting a Warlord Titan from start to finish. Holy crap. That would be boring. Because a lot of it would get airbrushed. And a little bit of freehanding work, but yeah. I don't think it'd be that interesting because it'd be just a lot of airbrushing work. Unless, of course, I did something kind of fancy on it or something, made it like, non-metallic metal or, things like that. Did something different, I guess. I don't know. But otherwise, not happening. Kevinized CMYK for print. Don't even bother. Lazy Monkey color theory always makes my brain hurt. It's not bad. It's just once you get your head around some aspects of it. Like, again, like a lot of artists, for whatever reason, they argue color wheel, which color wheel is the right color wheel. And a lot of artists will argue that the CMYK color wheel is the proper color wheel, when a lot of things in that color wheel do not apply, especially for us who paint miniatures, who we all use pigment paints. That color wheel does not apply to what we do. Only the traditional color wheel applies to what we do, which is the red, blue, yellow are the primary colors. It's all determined by the primary colors. Red, blue, yellow are the primaries for pigments. Red, blue, green, primaries for light. CMYK for print. But a lot of people argue that it's the proper color wheel. Kevin Eyes, so easy though, but maybe because I work with it every day professionally. Yeah. I mean, like if you're because I think it was you, Kevin Eyes, that said you're painting with inks. Yeah, because I mean, like if you're gonna do that, because the inks will be very thin bodied, like high pigment but very thin, and it'd be a lot of fun to do that. But yeah, you're essentially following the CMYK principles. Like if you paint the model white, or prime the model white, and then give it a base coat of white, and then you're just building those colors up, and you're allowing the white to remain as your highlights, and you're just simply building the color downwards. And that's the way I imagine. That's the easiest way I'd imagine working with inks is that but the most excellent part about that would be how thin the paint layers would be. Like really, like the paint layers would be so thin. If you're working with inks, it'd be so thin. It'd be a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. It'd be a lot of fun. The Balefire Forge. How do I add pictures to the picture section here? You don't add pictures section to the picture section here. You email me pictures and I will post them. Unless you want to post them on Facebook. Then you can post them on Facebook. Dave Taylor. It would be a lot of the same. The Titan. Yeah, it would. Beginning to end, doing like a Warlord Titan. Yeah, it would be a lot of the same stuff. Like imagine, like the biceps where it's all just pistons and gears. I mean, if you've seen how to do the pistons and gears on one section, then you know how to do it on the other section, and how to do it like on the back of the legs and stuff like that. So it'd all be pretty kind of. The only interesting parts would be the carapace, the guns, the head, and I don't know, whatever else. Where am I? Ben, honestly, I just want to see Kris zooming around at 10 times the speed. Yeah, I'd like to see Kris doing that too. Been a long time since Kris been able to move 10 times speed. Some of you believe it or not, I used to do track back in the day. I used to run and, shot put and, I wasn't Mr. Olympiad or anything like that, but yeah. Anyway. I was about to go, and then you get married, and then you get settled down, and then, you start to get soft. Oh, well. Let's do an email. Wait. I don't think this is the right email I should be showing. No, because this is somebody showing me about some other paint line. And so let's go to this one. Yes, let's do this one. Dr. Santos, bro, do you even lift? Not anymore, dude. Not anymore. This is from Flynn Buckland. Hey, Kris, just some photos on my scenery setup with mine and friends' models. Would like to hear your thoughts. Cheers. Now, I took a quick peek at these, and these are a lot of fun. These are really, really good. I like these. Which picture's better? No, that one? That one? No, that one's crap. So let's go back to this one. Now, look at that. When you see these kind of photos, does that not make you want to play 40K? Does that not make you want to play? And just go, like, look at that. That's just great. Is he missing his backpack? Anyway. I love the terrain. I love all the graffiti on the walls and stuff like that. Awesome stuff. The fences, screen door, mesh. Done that a million times. I'm sure a million of us out there have used, that fine mesh to do fences and stuff like that. Awesome. I like this picture. Here's another one. Close up. You can tell a story with these, right? That's what I really like about these is you can kind of tell a story. There's a little theme going on. Excuse me. I think one of the things you got to watch out for, though, is your depth of field. Now, I don't know if you are using a smartphone or if you're using a proper camera like a DSLR. But another thing to consider is your light, like coming down, and your depth of field. And getting a little bit more of the depth of field. Like, I like the brick here, but it gives it the sense that it's, really close. And he's just right there when really that brick is really not that far. And see, how far out of focus he is? Kind of like that, Oh, I like this one. This is cool. I like this. This one here is almost begging for a little bit of Photoshop. Just to put a glow on those coils. And then having bullets kind of look like they're passing by over their heads and stuff. Yeah, this one's very, very cool. I like this one. I just like the colors, the dark. Feels like it's a war zone. Feels chaotic. You don't know what's going on. Where are they looking? I like this one. That's good. Oh yeah, this one's good too. I like this one. I like that purple light thrown in there. That's nice. Yeah, I like this one. Again, depth of field, but I don't know what kind of camera you're using, but either way, these are really kick-ass. Oh yeah, look at that. This one looks like he's just posing. He just showed up and he said, Sirman, we want a picture of you. Okay, and striking a pose. Here we go. This one's for all the ladies. But anyway, the tote. What's the tote? I've seen that before on your things. Oh, look at this Necromunda. This guy's running towards him with his big pig sticker. Awesome stuff. Oh, look at this one. This is cool. Oh, look. There's this big art piece here on the wall over here. Is that Conan? It's like an apartment building. Oh, look at, he's got like stormtroopers and stuff up on top. This is too cool. See, this is the kind of stuff that I love, that gets me inspired to paint and to get and to do more terrain and stuff. I haven't built any terrain in a long damn time, but like I love like the whole setup. You know, it's just so cool. Feels like it's in a little city hab block or whatever, right? Very, very, very cool. I like this one. Sorry, I'm just kind of taking it all in. I like this. This is cool. Yeah, again, I think your next step would be is to do a little bit of photoshopping into your shots, and you know, add a few embellishments. You know, like this one here could use like a little bit of you know, little laser pulse coming out. You know, something like that. I like the color in this one. The grittiness, the contrast. The whites and the black is like really nice. It's got a haziness, almost got like this vignetting around it. This one looks like it's almost done with like your iPhone or something. And you throw through the few Instagram filters. Not to say that you didn't do a good job. I'm just saying that's how this one kind of reminds me. Seen this composition a few times. Is that it? Oh, that's it? I want more. Was that it? Yeah, so back. This one, my favorite. Right there. I like this one. Like I said, this one's good on its own, as is. But this one feels like the coils, we could have like a little bit of illumination on the coils. Like just, you know, Photoshop that in. And like, you know, little bullet streaks kind of flying by, or, you know, not even maybe just a bit of a glow in the gun, but otherwise, yeah, that's very cool. Thank you for sending that in, Flynn. Thank you for sending that in. That was very good. I like it. Made my day. It's awesome stuff. Keep going. Send me more. Just keep sending it all. Just keep sending it all. Where are we in the comments? I don't know where we're at. Dr. Zantos, question for everyone here. I'm painting a Storm Raven in Death Watch colors. Right now it's base colored black Incubi Darkness mix. Got any tips on how to make it look cool and proper Death Watchy? Well, I think having you know, on the vehicle itself, having like red portions, like, you know, like the guns are like where the missiles and weapons and stuff are, you know, the leading edge of the panel lines, you know, having those in red. There's got to be a lot of silver on it somewhere, so you got to have like the doors maybe silver, or you can have, you know, large silver accents. Unless, of course, because you've done the vehicle mostly in blacks, right? Also, too, you know, maybe the pilots. Maybe the pilots are from, you know, like, say, Imperial Fists. And so you have some, you know, Imperial Fist motifs around the cockpit, or, you know, something along those lines, kind of personalized, right? Because, you know, it's a personalized kind of thing, and each Death Watch is, you know, it's like a great honor to be there. And, of course, you know, they want to you know, do good. But yeah, I think just that good proper mixture, I think, of mostly black, red accents with the silver. I think that's your best bet. Even like little kill markings and stuff like that. And of course, the other one is battle damage as well. I wouldn't go hog wild on the battle damage, but yeah, battle damage. Just make it look kind of roughed up, and it's seen, its fair share of battles. Lord of Migots decals. Eugen Held I. Many painters are terrible at using decals for markings on tanks and such. They just put it on the army insignia and move on. Yeah. Putting the little markings and stuff makes a huge difference. Yes, it does. It does. On all my planes, I always put the Sam on. Just my vampire is a free-handed Sam on, but I mean, like, it's a big symbol. I free-handed on it. Otherwise, I use the transfers and put them on there because it just looks cleaner and sharper, and it looks better. And along with some of those other ones, like the little hazard warnings and stuff like that, and the little triangles and arrows and things like that. I also like using those ones as well. Really? Posted to Facebook photos of my gray night objective markers I painted. Take a look. I will take a look. Max. That was some awesome pictures. Yeah, I enjoyed those pictures. And Flynn, feel free to send me more because, again, those are really awesome and very cool. Balefire Forge. They sent some pictures to Chris's email. Chris's mail. Lee Welton. Very cool pics. Must be using a macro lens. 100mm? I don't think so. I mean, unless, of course, it's a low light. But, I mean, his depth of field wasn't very... he didn't have a whole lot of depth of field. Unless, of course, he just didn't want to put as much light on it. But, yeah, because once you open that depth of field up, you got to get more light on it. But yeah, hard to say. Some of the things look like they were just done with like a smartphone, though. I don't know. Could be completely wrong. Drewski, if anyone cares, I found an allergy-free cyanoacrylate superglue. I used to die with regular superglues and be sick for days. This is the stuff, no effect on me. Bob Smith Industries Super Gold Plus. Okay, well, there you go. Anybody, allergies? Just shoot Drewski a message, say, bro, hook me up. Lord of Midgets. Kris, why do you have a bottle of lube next to your drink? Do you have another can-based activity you do for monies to support GW prices? It's not lube. It's lotion. And, sometimes the guy gets dry. And you got to moisturize up. Hey, you got to take care of your skin, man. Got to take care of your skin. And your skin will take care of you. And the bottle here, it's just an empty bottle. I just haven't thrown it away. I mean, a better question would be, why do I have lube and baking soda next to my drinks? That should be your first and second questions. Kilo 8878, email time. Oh, email time. Oh, you're calling the shots now, are you? Vlad Tepe. Oh, Drewski. 7.3 times Apple, to be precise. What? Lee Welton, macro lens would have very narrow depth of field. Depends on your aperture. Well, yeah, because, I mean, like, with the macro lens, it would give you that great close up, but also because like you'd be able to go really close here, but you still would have to adjust your aperture so that you still capture more depth, right? Otherwise, you're just gonna have these really short focal lengths, and because I mean most of the time whenever I'm taking pictures with a kit lens. And, they turn out fine. I got to put it on a tripod and I crank the aperture way up and take the shot just so that, I have, lots of depth of field. Because, oftentimes you see like a lot of pictures of models where the person takes the picture and the face is in focus, but the model's arm is forward and it's all fuzzy. That's what you don't want. And that's why you want to open up your depth of field. Some photography lessons for everybody right there. Eugene Hell, Drake McBain, bat reps ever come back? When I get to play some Drake McBain bat reps. Man, I think that game was probably the last time I played War Machine. Well, maybe not, but pretty close. Johnny Wraith, there he is. Hey, peeps. There's Johnny Wraith. Yeah, let's do an email, because, I don't know, everybody's reading about The Hobbit, or A Bad Habit. Raven Falls, episode 105. Looking after your skin with lube. It's not lube. It's moisturizer. Look at. It's ultra moisturizing lotion. Because sometimes I get a little dry. Lazy Monkey. Wait, the Brush 105 uses lotion and baking soda. Uses for lotion and baking soda. Excuse me. King Luke 222, lube your skin and it'll reward you. David Taylor, episode 105. It's not lube. That's it. That's Dave Taylor wins. It's not lube. Oh, it's moving on me. It's moving. Ah, Shredder. If anybody can guess what voice I was just doing there. Shredder. There we go. It's not lube. It's not lube. It's not lube, man. Lee Welton, it's all lubed up to nowhere to go. Oh, man. Drewski, I'm good, man. Long time, no chat. I'm painting up a Vindicator for Dave. Awesome. Because that's what Dave needs, is more Vindicators. He's already got like a bazillion of them. Yes. Craig. Yeah, it's Craig. Dr. Santos, you win. It's Craig. Shredder. Anyway. Let's do an email. This is from Elric Druss. Elric? Yeah, Elric. I'm just making sure I'm trying to say that right. Elric. David Taylor, this isn't a way to brush until there's lube involved. Email. Hello, Kris. I got into the hobby when I was introduced to Infinity. Just like the look of the models, liked the game, so I decided to learn how to paint. I'm almost, not fully, finished painting my army and decided to send some pics for you to look at. And since I learned a look from your quick tips, whoa, that's messing me up. The camera setup is not the best, and there's some out of focus stuff. This is the Adriana Caledonian Army Sectorial, basically drunken Scots with werewolves. You just have to love that. Drunken Scots or the werewolves? Because I know Drunken Scots and they're a hoot. Wanted to give a low-tech feel to the army since it is more lore appropriate, and try to add some more unique look using the country colors red and green for the army trims. I found that sometimes the paint chipped away, letting the metal showing like the primer didn't set properly in some places. White Scar Citadel can primer. Can this be from the priming? User error. It's possible. I also have read somewhere you could wash some warm water metal miniatures. I didn't. Can this be a problem? It's possible. Like I said, this is my first attempt at painting, so don't expect something decent. Any extra advice would be appreciated. Kind regards, Eric, So, okay, really quickly here. When you're priming and you're finding the primer's wearing off, there's a few things. You're either laying too much primer down on to the model, or there's a layer of grease on the model and the primer is not sitting onto the model, or you're handling the model too much. You know how normally you'd be holding onto the base, but then sometimes, you know, the edge of your thumb or your fingers rubbing up against the side of the model, and so that'll wear the paint off. And so you have to be mindful of that. That's often why you'll see in a lot of the videos I do, you'll see I've got the model fixed to something, you know, like a paint pot or whatever, and so that you're not ever touching the model while you're working. And as far as washing the model, sure, there's no harm washing the model in, you know, lukewarm water and a little bit of dish soap, and just taking like a little toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and just giving the model a once over that way. So, let's get to the models. These look pretty darn good. The tartans on the cloths are really well done for a first timer, or somebody who's new to this. Yeah, I can see like on the bottom here, paint kind of sloughing off. Yeah, and I think that's from handling the model a little too much. And it does look pretty thick, but like the hair and everything's still there, so. If you were really over priming, like a lot of the fine details, and these models have a ton of fine details. Yeah, I see like on the end of his boot, that looks like it's worn. Yeah. And that, to me, that looks more like handling than anything. Because it could also happen on the end of his boot, on the end of his boot, you know. A boot. Very cool. Nice and clean. I like your painting. It's nice and clean. Looks like you got some decent transitions going on through the cloths here. I don't know if that's just the ink wash or what, but good stuff. Very brave on tartan. Very good. Good stuff. Any words of advice right now? No, as long as you're staying nice and neat, and you know you're keeping your colors separate and everything like that, everything looks good. I really don't know what else to suggest other than, you know, you just get a little bit more confidence in your highlighting, but that just comes with time and practice. Otherwise, this all looks really good. It's nice and clean. Again, the details and Infinity models are not the easiest models to paint in the world, as they often have a crap ton of details. The tiny little panel lines and things like that. Yeah. No, it's very good. I like them. I like it a lot. Good stuff. I like that you're you first time out brave enough to tackle the tartan patterns on their cloths. Very good stuff. Awesome. I approve. Again, you know, just getting tighter highlights and stuff like that just comes with practice and, you know, more experience and getting more comfortable with you know, your painting. Oh, where are we? That was Eric's. Okay. Comments? Where are we in the comments? I don't know. Roblo, hey Kris, what do you do if your primer sticks but your paint rubs off? If your paint is rubbing off, can't say I've ever really noticed that, other than you're using a different kind of primer, say something like a latex-based paint, and the acrylic and the latex were not sticking, and the paint was sloughing off. Otherwise, yeah, I really don't see that occurring that often. Yeah, your paint and primer would have to be different types of paints, like one being latex or something like that, because I don't think acrylic sticks on latex very well. But I could be wrong. Again, that's just a hunch. I've never seen paint coming off and the primer didn't. No. The Balefire Forge. Kris, didn't add any text to my email, just a mail with a few pictures. Hope it wasn't spam filtered. No, I have not gotten to that. Bale. Yeah, because Thamir, right? Thamir? No, I got your email. I got your email, dude. I got it. Drewski. Also, if Kris isn't lazy enough, he can just run over to Dave's office to get the Vindicator. LOL. Kris running. Kris running. Yeah, there's images of me running in the vault. There's me and Steve running. We were racing, right? Now, mind you, that's not how I ran back in the day, but yeah. Nowadays, man, my knees are done. Dr. Santos, Kris probably runs like a contemporary dreadnought. Yeah, probably slower. Just kind of ka-clunk, 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 ka-clunk. Bjorn, Kris runs on the Richter scale, scores a magnitude of 5 even. That sounds like a fat joke. On that note, I'm going to take a drink of my coffee. Hurt my feelings. Richter scale. You kidding me? Johnny Ray thought, Kris, are you going to continue doing all the legions on your quick tips, or were you going to do just some of them? Looking forward to Night Lords. Oh, Night Lords, yeah, Night Lords is another one. Well, answer your question, Johnny. Yeah, I am. I'm going to run through as many as I can without repeating myself too heavily. For example, like Dark Angels, Raven Guard, and like Iron Hands. They're all like their armor is all pretty much going to be painted the same way, right? So it's a black armor, painting a black armor, right? But yeah, Night Lords, yeah, that's a fun one. So we'll see, because again, it's all in the pre-heresy, and I recently did the Space Wolves, but the Space Wolf one isn't even out, so I pretty much just had to make a lot of that up, and a lot of people wanted to know how to do pre-heresy Space Wolves, when just really the artwork is a mid-tone gray. It's not a blue gray like the 40,000. It's a dark, darker mid-tone gray, and so I just pretty much went with that, and yeah, pretty much made it up from there. David Taylor, otherwise paint will pull the dry primer off even though some of them remain. Looks like it's sticking. Okay. What kind of primer is that? I don't know. Louis, I've had to wash off a layer off of one impact. Miniatures troll cast has something to do with the cheap resin, I believe. Yeah, it's all like there's many different factors why the paint can come flying off the model. Typically, it comes off from rubbing, from impacts, right? And if the paints are not compatible, now you can use GW paint as primer and GW paint and still have the paint come off. That's still a possibility, because the model, plastic, metal, otherwise, there could be that layer of mold release. Now they do put those parts through a bath before they package them, but sometimes again, there's manufacturing errors all the time. There's always these errors in manufacturing at any point, and there's always going to be errors. Isvor, Kris doesn't need to run. He is Samhan. These guys use bikes. Yeah, that'd be fun. Just have a big Eldar jet bike. Man, if I had an Eldar jet bike, I'd be flying everywhere. Okay, here's a quick one for you guys. What piece of gear from the 40K universe do you wish really existed or you had? It's like I would like an Eldar jet bike, just zooming around, flying, and kind of just all over the place. That'd be great. I'd probably get killed the first time I take it out, and probably wrap myself around a tree, kind of like the guys in Return of the Jedi. Like those really fast little speeder bikes going through the forest. It'd probably be the same thing as wee, getting right into a tree stump. Wouldn't even see it. Wouldn't even be fast enough to react to it, right? But yeah. What would be another great piece of tech from 40K? 40K is not really that techy, is it? Because it's all about superstition and stuff like that. Yeah. Max. Hover bikes. Yeah, hover bikes. For hovering. The 7 faces. The webway portal for sure. The webway portal. That would be actually that's a good one. Because you can go anywhere with that. Bjorman. I'd settle for a spaceship. Any really? The Bale Forge. A Mauler Fiend as a pet. Yep. Lord of Midgets. Poop Tube from Power Armor. Could do more painting. Poop Tube from Power Armor. Bjorn, an Orc War Bike. Okay. Yeah, Isvor. Reaver jet bikes. Faster than the other Eldar jet bikes. But if someone tries to go past me, they're dead. Yeah, because it's got the big blades, right? You just go flying around and popping people's heads off. Korn, the Bloodhound. Land Speeders, yep. Jim White, Imperial Battleship for my dreams. Yeah, like an Imperial Battleship. I mean, like how many people does that take? It's got to be like 100,000 people to crew, an Imperial Battleship. 100,000? That's probably conservative. It's probably something like 500 to 1 million people and servitors just to man all the weapons and all the engine parts and just keep that thing running. Yeah, I'd imagine it's probably a huge amount of people that needed for that. The Bad Edge, a Stompa. A Stompa. Dr. Xantos, a Sentinel. Yeah, a Sentinel just kind of plodding around. A Helldrake for Drewski. I don't know, man. A Helldrake. Because it seems like it'd have a mind of its own, and you'd be more like riding around. You'd be like, like the little kid from Neverending Story riding on the back of Falcor, He'll just do whatever he wants to do, and you're just kind of, yay! KMZ Riot. Kris, I've come a long way in painting, but I always see them as inferior to the other, even though I know they aren't bad. Well, that's just confidence, right, Cam? It's like making a sandwich and it won't be the same as someone else, even if it's the same. Oh yeah, I get what you mean, right? Your mom makes you a sandwich, it tastes great. You make the same sandwich yourself, and it's like, man, yeah, okay, I get it. No, I completely understand. Do you feel like you need to compete with other people, or can you just paint for yourself and just be happy with what you do? Because what you do is probably a lot better than what hundreds of other people are doing, and they're like, I'm not happy with my work, and so everybody's kind of just gotta just kind of take it easy and just hey man, just paint, just paint for the sake of painting and for the love of it, If you like it, it's all that matters. Greenleaf Terrain, Squig Pets. I'd imagine squigs kind of like tribbles in Star Trek, where they just kind of multiply. You know what I mean? And you'd be up to your eyeballs in squigs in no time, unless of course you ate them all day, because orcs eat them and use them for stuff and things like that. But yeah. Dr. Xantos, a frigate takes 2,000. Yeah, but the frigates are small. The frigates are just like small little ships, and that's 2,000 people. That's a lot of people. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know I'm lost as to where we all are. Balefire Forge. Wonder if the Never-Ending Story would have been different if the kid rode a Helldrake instead of a white fluffy thing. A big flying Helldrake, burning the streets down. Oh man. Yeah, see, David Taylor, for what was the other kid's name? I can't remember the other kid's name now. I'm a terrible painter, but I enjoy it. So shrug. And that's the thing, right? You just enjoy it. I mean, we all paint within our limits, and practice does make perfect. You will get better the more you do it. And of course, you keep absorbing as much knowledge and things like that as much as you can, and apply what you're hearing. Apply those techniques and give them a try yourself. Try out wet blending, try out layering, feathering. Try out these different things. Give them a try. Try them out a few times. Don't just try it once and go, it didn't work. Try it out a few times. You'll find you get better. Let's do an email. This is from, grab the wrong mouse again. This is from Totem Lord. Hey, Kris. I painted a few of my Dark Eldar. Please, could I have your opinion and any tips on how to improve? Thanks in advance. Your favorite Totem Lord. So, let's have a look. Well, right off the top, Totem is picture kind of hard to see. And so far, from what I can see here, is like, see how there's so much shade in the face? That kind of tells me that you have an over-reliance on the shade wash for the entirety of your model. For example, the entire model was hit with Agrax Earthshade, and then you just picked up the flesh again, which is fine to get the models game ready. But if you really want to start improving your painting abilities, stop relying on the shade washes to achieve your end results. But here, like the highlights on the shoulder and stuff look all right. The armor looks good. Thin your paints. Some of the points it does look a little chalky, but I don't know if that's the graininess of the image or not, right? And I'm sure Totem Lord, this is probably done with your phone or something like that, which is all right. It just, can't quite see all the details. Like I see like the way the shade wash on here is playing with that surface. It almost looks like it was like a heavy primer. Like even the dry brushing. Dry brush is not bad. Yeah, I can see fine highlights here. Yeah, just thin your paints down. Stop relying on the shade washes to do a lot of the work for you. If you kind of catch what my meaning, like don't let it do all the shadows for you, right? If you're going to do something like that where you're going to allow a lot of it to build up on a model surface, do it in multiple layers. Thin the shade wash down, but apply it in multiple layers. Because like here, see like on the bicep, like we have this dark tone, and then we have really this kind of mid-tone here, but then this lighter tone on top. Versus having a couple more colors in between there. Like see here it's not so much. But here it's really noticeable, right? Again, that's just like a really heavy reliance on the shade wash. And so really, I think Totem Lord, your painting's really good. It's clean. I like your highlightings is clean. I think really where you're going to find yourself going to the next level of painting is not relying on shade washes to create all those little varying tones for you. You got to go in and create those varying tones, and I think you'll find that your painting starts to kind of go up to the next level. So hopefully that helps, Totem Lord. And thank you for sending the email. Continue to send me emails. I like getting emails. It makes me feel all fuzzy and warm inside. Really, watching your videos and hear those pep talks definitely make me a better painter. Kris, thanks for all making us all awesome. Well, you're welcome. I do enjoy helping people, and I do. It is a bit of an ego thing when so many people tell me, like I've helped them, and genuinely, I do enjoy that, somebody's improved at their painting, that, I've helped them through a particular point, and I do enjoy that. a little sense of pride. And I mean, is that a bad thing? I don't know, but I do enjoy it, knowing that I've helped. Lord of Midgets, can we troll Kris next week by sending him the worst painted miniatures we can? Like, straight from the pot, goopy paint? You can go right ahead. Go right ahead. Do it. Do your worst. The Seven Faces. What airbrush paint thinner do you recommend, Kris? I think we talked about this last week, and I use Golden's paint thinner. Golden has a really great line of airbrush paints, high flow, and I use their airbrush thinner for a lot of stuff, even the Citadel stuff, and because it flows really, really thin. Although it is like Vallejo's thinner, where it's a little bit murky. It's not a crystal clear kind of liquid. It's got a little bit of murkiness, but it doesn't change the value of the paint. It doesn't change the color of the paint. It just, knowing that, you can work past and work through it, right? Whereas like the Citadel thinner, even the Citadel airbrush thinner is crystal clear. It's just like LeMay Medium. It's not exactly the same as LeMay Medium, but it looks the same and it flows the same. It's really watery stuff. And like even the Games Workshop airbrush paints, like you pay the premium price on those, but the paints aren't bad. They cover really, really well. I've shown them in a few videos doing these Horus Heresy models, and they cover it really nicely, nice and smooth. I've really not had any issue other than the fact that they're in a stupid painting pot, and you got to use a pipette to draw paint out, which is annoying because you got to rinse that pipette out, otherwise paint's going to clog your pipette. And yeah, so but yeah, Seven Faces. I use Golden most of the time. Even when I'm thinning, Minotaur colors or Citadel colors, yeah. Where are we? Macy, yeah, Vallejo's very good. Yeah, Vallejo's very good too. It's just the Vallejo one and my Golden one. Like I said, they're a little bit murky, but otherwise, they work great. Vince E. Hey, Kris, I just wanted to say thanks for taking a few hours of your personal time to help so many painters around the world. I love your show and I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Vince E. Yeah, because this is my personal time. I often forget that Saturdays are my day, and here I am, being harassed for 2 hours by you guys and abused. No, it's not abuse. Dave Tyler, it must be nice to see people going from you painted that with your feet to I would use this in a game. Must be pretty damn satisfying. Yes. Shio720. You've been a big help to me, Kris, but both directly and indirectly between all the tips and the pedestal. Appreciate your work, buddy. Thank you. David Taylor, send drugs and hookers? To who? Who's getting drugs and hookers? What's going on here? I don't know. I don't know. David Taylor Moose says, what? Shio720, you think Kris has a lack of drugs and hookers? Get real, man. A lack? I don't know about I don't even know. What? Lazy Monkey. Vincent Bourne collection of the Biden sous chef costume and send it to me to Wargaming so Matt got one less excuse. No, it's not that Matt will have one less excuse. It's all have one less excuse. Vlad Tepe, extremely good airbrush thinner. Createx Wicked Colors high performance reducer. I've seen those ones too, and that's another good one, Vlad. Drewski, Kris, look up, read my question about wanting to paint more. Check your email. Check my email. Look up. Oh, I grabbed the wrong mouse again. Good grief. Drewski, does anybody else out there want more to paint more, but just can't. I have a hard time getting the nerve to pick up the brush and get some work done. It's like I want to love painting, but just don't. Well, you gotta love it. You gotta also have the time, right? I mean, Drewski, I know, like, you recently moved, job, family, right? All that. All those come first. This hobby is the bottom last of our priorities. Technically should be the bottom of our priorities, right? Because this is a hobby. It's whatever we do in our free time. Now, if you don't have any free time, well, I mean, there's no fault in that, but although you should probably try and take some free time for yourself to, relax and chill out and, you know what I mean? Reset the clock and, feel normal again. But as far as, when you get the chance to sit down painting and you don't feel like it, hey man, don't. If you don't feel like it, then don't. Because, I mean, like, you could sit there and start painting something and, you might just kind of get lazy about it and just kind of blasé and just, and just, you end up just doing kind of a crap job and you don't really care and you just don't care. Do something else. Go read a book, watch a movie, try and find a new way to inspire yourself to paint is really what it is. What inspired you to paint the first time, right? What inspired you to paint the first time? And try and, restart that ember. Lord of Midgets, Kris, my grandfather got me a bottle of lube and baking soda for my birthday tomorrow. How do I use this to make a Titan for my Eldar army? Well, you got to be very careful with the baking soda and the lube. You also need to use your oven, preheat your oven to about 380, and you're going to need a lot here now, mind you. And basically, you freeform the soda into what you want, lube. Mixture, it's roughly about a 2-to-1 soda to lube. Allow it to bake in the oven, and you'll get your little shapes and sizes. And basically, you're making it like bones, right? Because Eldar, long. What do you mean, how do I make a Titan out of soda? Come on, people. Do you see how long I was going with that? Oh, man. Bjorn, Nike, the new way of painting? Sure. Drewski, he's saying my disease does not have a cure. I'm not saying your disease doesn't have a cure. I'm not saying it's a disease. I'm saying it's it's more like psychological trauma. And you got to work past that psychological trauma to get to the root of what, made you happy about painting in the first place. David Taylor, want to know my secret for inspiration? Pinterest. Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's you find your inspiration all over the place, right? You see somebody else has done a paint job that looks really, kick-ass. You want to duplicate it. I was the same way. Still the same way. Really. I mean, I'll see a paint job and I kind of like that. Maybe I'll apply it to, something else and, whatever, right? But otherwise, yeah, we borrow. We borrow color schemes all the time. Lord of Midgets. KY jelly and baking soda might make putty. I might actually give it a try and report back next week. If you do, make a tutorial. Make a tutorial using baking soda and KY jelly. Vince E. Golden is a good mark of paint, but I don't like the fact that every paint has a varnish effect, and I can't mix it with that medium without clogging the airbrush. What about Minotaur? How about Minotaur? Minotaur is good. Minotaur is fine. Minotaur, the metallics, the early metallics, when they first came out, they were kind of cloggy. And as far as paints clogging in the brush, I really don't find I have that much of an issue with cloggage. Because normally I don't work with too much paint in my brush, because that can also contribute as well, right? When you put too much paint into your well, and that outer lip dries, and sometimes it falls off and falls in, and then you have a little clog. So, the pain as well. But no, I like golden. Golden's great. They're really high pigment. They're almost like inks, really, is what they're like. They flow so well. Some of the colors do dry with a gloss, but you can throw matte in there. You can throw matte medium in and, kill it. DGFJBHKMM. Oh, crap. Hey, Kris, I think I heard some metal music in your office when I was in Mini Wargaming. Do you listen to Gojira? Frick, can't say it. Gojira? If not, check them out. I have not listened to Gojira. I will check them out. I have heard of them, though. There's lots of metal out there, man. I've not gotten into. What was one that I'm complete latecomer at too? Like one was like Machine Head. Machine Head. I was completely late on the train on that one. And Machine Head's such a great metal band. So, yeah, sure. Send me ideas for new stuff, because I always like getting ideas for listening to something new. Because I do like enjoy my classics, but sometimes I like checking out something new. Like I just listened to the new Megadeth album, which is all right. I've only listened to it once. I got to listen to it a couple more times before I kind of render a verdict on it if I like it or not. But yeah. Where am I? Soilwork, Bjorn. Yeah, I've listened to Soilwork. Dave Taylor, Vince. Reaper Anti-Shine is fantastic. Never tried it. I've used Reapers quite a bit. Back in the earlier, when I was first getting tutorials around here, I was using a lot of Reaper paints. But these days, no. I usually just strictly Games Workshop stuff. Ishiab. Sometimes it's the stress of the week that can take one out of wanting to do anything. It seems like a force. I have to force myself to start painting. Then I get back into it. It's just that nudge at first. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just need that nudge just to get you going. Yeah, it's really, really hard. I really, I paint pretty much every day. And, sometimes I have to give myself a nudge to get to work and, get something done. Because sometimes it's just like, I don't feel like it. But I can't not feel like it. I've got to get it done, right? It's my job. Dr. Williams, Kris, what is your favorite non-metallic metal band? My favorite non-metallic metal band, Eagles of Death Metal. There we go. Now people are going to try to figure that one out. Wait, what does he mean by non-metallic? I don't know where the hell we are here. Load of midgets. Remember, working too hard will kill you faster. Stress kills people. Your extra lifespan will let you work as much, but give you much better leisure time. Yeah. Drewski. I'll be good for a few days, then it takes me a month to reset. Yeah, so that sounds like like life, dude, man. Take care of life. Take care of life. Hobbies last, man. Take care of those things that might be stressing you out. Dave Taylor, Drewski, maybe you just don't like painting. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with not liking painting. CJ Simply, hey Kris, have you ever used Tamiya Rattle Can Primer on GW products? If so, would you recommend it? Only primer I currently have. Sure. Primers for the most part. Even people use Krylon, house generic kind of spray can paint to prime their models, and they get good results. That's fine. Okay, if you're not obscuring any of the details, your paint is sticking to the model, it's not coming off, it's, you know, like everything's working out just fine, then by all means, keep doing it. By all means, keep going. You're doing fine. It's just my personal preference and my experience. You know, Citadel White was my favorite because it stuck so well. You really didn't have to use all that much to put onto the model. Like, you didn't have to coat the model in white. You can just pretty much give the model fairly good dusting. And even though you could still see, say, like metal showing through, didn't matter. Primer was there, and, you know, it's sticking to the model. Another one I used to like using that wasn't GW was Tester's Flat Black. I used to like priming my tanks with that one because it went on so smooth, had a little bit of surface on it, and went on great. And yeah, so I used to use that all the time as well. Yeah, so hopefully, CJ, simply, that answered your question. If it's working for you, buddy, keep going. Keep going. You know, because I know, like, there's people out there who use, you know, like the cheap spray paints, and they say they get good results. And I mean, I've seen their models, and yeah, they look all right. I mean, you know, it's not until we start getting into the point where we want to get into the more competitive side of painting do we really care about, you know, how much primer we're laying out, how thin we're getting the paints, how, you know, how accurate we're being with the edges of the colors, and, you know what I mean, like. It's only to that point, right? But for most of us right now, we're just getting into the hobby, or, you know, we're painting to a good tabletop standard. Yeah, most of the time, those kind of products, you're fine. And Tammy's a really good paint line, so I'm sure their primers are pretty darn good. David Taylor, I use Halford's gray primer like 90% of the time. Sure, I'm not sure what Halford's is, but okay. David Taylor, my nephew flat out refuses to paint anything other than white because his logic is if he wants a clean model and not one someone else has painted on. Okay, wait. He wants it a clean model and not one someone's already painted on. Okay. So he always primes in white? That's fine. If you want your colors bright, you always prime it white. Like I've said a zillion times. You want it bright, you prime it white. Okay? And, you know, there's nothing wrong with always priming white because, I mean, if something's got to go black, you just paint it in black. No big trip, right? But it's always hard to prime it black and you want it, you know, say, for example, you're painting an Imperial Fist tank and you primed it black. You're going to have one wicked time trying to build that yellow back up. You're gonna have a wicked time. You're gonna have a stroke. You're gonna have you'll have a conniption fit. You'll freak right out. You'll flip the table, whatever. So, yeah, don't do it. You want it bright, prime it white. Tolo, literally priming with Bob Ross gesso right now. Yeah, that's fine. I've never really primed a model with gesso before, but. Tolo, brush or airbrush? Brush or airbrush? Well, I was primed by airbrush these days. I prefer airbrush to the regular brush. Just because you got to thin down, you got to make sure your brush strokes are good. And, you know what I mean? And of course, you all know how, you know, you keep consistent, you know, layering on a model, right? Up, down, left, right with your brush strokes. So. Max at Kris. Wife is hassling me. How long do you think your stream is today? She wants me to tug in the kids, but I'd like to hear the way of the brush to the end. There's like 11 minutes left. The show, like I said at the beginning, is 120 minutes. 120 minutes. 2 hour. Deuce hours. Deuce hours. That's the worst Spanish whatever I've heard. Where are we? Completely lost. Vlad Tepe, Kris, I just sent you a nice email with 25 more of pictures. Ooh. 25 more. I'll keep grabbing the wrong mouse. Let's do it. In fact, since we're talking emails, yeah, let's do an email. This is from Sammy C. Man, this gonna be a long one, Sammy. Sammy, are we gonna have to get comfortable here and dive in for a long one? Dear Kris, Sammy C, aka Ishiab, from Farmingdale, New York. Farmingdale, New York? You're probably not too far from Mini Wargaming then, right? In the good old US of A. I've been a big fan for a long time, while now having been watching the Way of the Rush shows for roughly over 2 years, as well as being a member of Mini Wargaming Vault videos, tips and tricks, etc. Love all that you've done and you're doing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn to try and improve my style and techniques. Well, thank you. I've been feeling guilty as of late for only watching the shows and all the great works that people have posted to you without having sent something I've done. Lost my friggin' place now. I've done a few things I've done a while ago, and some more recently as well. Some things that are work in progress. After compiling a few pics of things, I now realize that I have a long way to go to be considered what I think is good. Or, in other words, see the errors I made that I'm now knowing that I've learned. I perhaps should have done things differently to obtain a better, more desirable outcome. However, I still love mini models and the hobby and the gaming, and will never give up, never surrender, until I've gotten to the point that I hope I can get to one day. Whew. All that crap being said, here we hopefully go. War Machine models, just a few pieces and poses. Man. So let's have a look. So here, some War Machine. Now is it painted? Or is it work in progress? That's very interesting on the blade here. I like that. Is that the paint, or did you highlight it like that? Or is that... I'm confused. Okay, no, that was just the paint. That was just the primer. Oh, man. Okay. So very good stuff. Yep. Blade like. Clean up the gold just a little bit. Get a little bit more solid in there. Spikes on the back. Very, very cool. Little skulls on the base. Scary. It is tough too with some of these War Machine models. They are so small. They have the tiniest little details. And one of the things, like for her and her flesh, right? Like it looks like you went with like a base tone of like, say, darker pink and then built it up. You probably could have just as easily done it base coating it with a light pink and then taking like cardboard crimson or a shade wash and then just touching it into the bottom areas and allowing it to fill in those areas without too much trouble, too much fuss or muss, right? It's very cool. Like the sword. See, sometimes I can't tell if the paint is being applied too heavily or if it's the model, because again these are all pewter models, and like I'm looking at like the sword blade here, and like, is the paint too heavy? No. Again, too, some of the privateer press sculpts are really kind of soft, so it is kind of hard to tell sometimes. But very good stuff. I like the blue. I like the transitions in there. Gold. It's very good. Oh, look at this guy. This is cool. Nice stuff. I want to come back in. Is that supposed to be like battle worn, or is that just from wear and tear? Very good stuff. Nice and clean. I'm not entirely sure what would be missing, other than like a little bit more of the contrasts. Like for example, the armor separation. So you get a deeper shadow in towards the head, and it gets a little brighter on the outer edge, and it's a deeper shadow along that plate, running out to a brighter edge. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But that'll come with experience, right? That'll come with time when you get more comfortable with doing, these little fine little areas. Yeah, just creating a little bit more separation in some points. But good stuff. When you're doing yellow and you're trying to do it on top of a darker color, try coming at it with like a light brown or even an off-white, even a gray, really, and then hitting with the yellow. I'm not sure if you're using privateer press paints or if you're using Citadel paints, but like for something like that, if it's Citadel paints, I would use like Avalanche Sunset first, fill that in, and then come in with the Imperial Yellow or Bad Moon or Flash Kit, whatever it is. Can't remember what it is. Yeah, I think the copper could use a little more contrast in it, like a shade wash. Pick out those little holes and stuff, and then just create a little bit more transition, getting closer to the armor plates and stuff. But again, like I said, that all comes with time. Very cool. Cavalry. Now, some of the browns, they get lost with some of this brass. They almost look the same value. Just be mindful of that, in the future. Oh, it's privateer press paints? Okay. It's privateer press paints he's using. I'm not that familiar with the privateer press stuff. So you have to forgive me on that one. Oh, there's everybody's favorite Warcaster. Very cool. Work in progress, obviously. There's this guy. Very cool. Beefy dude. Oh, look at the back. That's nice and clean. I like this. But very nice. I like this. This is eye-catching kind of stuff right here. Very cool. Big old Punisher skull. Yeah, be mindful of how much primer base is like. That paint looks really thick there on the blade there. But it looks good. Some of these almost look like you're doing some blending or something in there. Again, though, like I could see like how the light is playing across the model surface. I think that the primer might be too heavy. I think you might be priming too much. Because like looking at it like that, and it's really bumpy surface. And Old Rowdy, I don't think is this bumpy. I think this is Old Rowdy, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's this bumpy. But very cool. Ooh, look at this guy. I see the paint's a lot smoother here. Very good here. I like this. It's very nice. Nice and clean. This is actually really nice. It's nice and clean. I like a little freehand design on there, a little Punisher skull. I like it. There's a bad blending at the top. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. No, this is really nice though. I like this one. It's nice and clean. And again, if you're not comfortable with like doing different kind of techniques and things like that, just just stay with working with base tones and just staying nice and neat, thinning your colors, and laying paint down nice and even. Master that, and then you'll find that you're well on your way to mastering the other techniques. But yeah, priming. Yeah, I think right now, Ishab, I think your number one enemy might be the priming. You might be laying a little too much down. And probably like a lot of War Machine players, you probably play with your models long before you get paint around to them. Very cool. I don't like this Jack either. He's mean. Looks like Clockwork Orange. Holy man, here's his setup of the workstation. Man, this is you got more crap sitting around than me. Oh, what's this? What's this up here? What is that? Is that for like a school project or something? That looks really cool. Oh, we done? We're done. We're done. So thank you, Isheb, Sammy C, for sending that in, giving us a peek into his world. That email took us a little while. Yeah, so Ishab, yeah, I think from what I can gather, I think you're priming a little too heavy, because a lot of those model surfaces look just a little bit bumpy, and that's usually, like, I know pewter is fairly bumpy to begin with, but oh, you're an architect. Well, awesome stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, it looks like you might be over priming on some of those models. And yeah. Oh, it's a proposal model. Got you. No, it's very cool, man. Architect, yeah. When I was a wee lad, architecture was one of those things I like. You know, when I was a wee lad, there was many possibilities that, you know, this life, this path was going to go, and it could have easily been a soldier, could have easily been a architect, could have easily been a teacher. Who knows? Even a cop. Who knows? You know what? I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I think I'll just continue to just play with my models. All right, so I think we're done. Oh man, it's 2 minutes after. Here we go. Yeah, so just before, who was asking earlier about how long we're going? I can't remember now. Anyway, any questions, comments? You know, you want to show off what you're working on. You want some help with a color scheme, maybe a commission painting service, and you want to drum up some extra viewership or exposure, what have you. Send it to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Join me on Facebook. Maybe you want to share it there and get some more immediate input rather than waiting for me to read the email on the show. But every email I do get, I do read on the show. Sometimes I read emails that aren't supposed to be on the email or on the show. But anyway. I still maintain Kris used to be a cop. No, I'm not a cop. Love poems? Yeah, you can send love poems. You send love poems? Sure. Send love poems. T-shirts. Way the Rush t-shirts. They help Kris out. They help fund the cause. And, of course, they make you look nice and manly. Unless, of course, you're a woman. And in which case, it'll just make you look like a connoisseur of all that is right in the world and in miniature painting. Drewski, Kris, do you have a Patreon? No, I do not have a Patreon. I don't know. Okay. Because I had this conversation with Matt like a while back, and we've talked about this kind of stuff before, and I don't think I could. Because I'm paid from the vault, so all the vault members, they generously give us money every month and subscribe to our service, and and we want more vault members to subscribe, right? Because then we can do more, we can get more done, and we can show more and create more, And if I had a Patreon, I don't know. It would almost feel like I was double dipping, kind of thing, right? If I did it, which I don't think really is realistically is the case. I mean, I do the T-shirt thing, which generates pennies. But I mean, it's fun. It allows me to buy equipment and stuff for myself. But I mean, it also helps expand upon my experience as far as like for example, t-shirt sales. The money from that I put towards paints, put towards new paints. Try out different kinds of paints, right? Because the more experience you have in varying equipment and things like that, the more knowledgeable you can intelligently speak on a particular topic. Like when you're comparing, Privateer Press, Citadel, Coat d'Arms, Vallejo, Scale 75, like all these different things. You can speak more intelligently on them if you've used them and have a large collection of them as well. So, yeah, that's where really that kind of stuff goes. And as far as having a Patreon, I work 40 hours a week and I'm paid, for a 40-hour week. And, I think it's, a fair amount. And to have a Patreon, it would feel, again, like double dipping, like, it's not enough. I mean, nobody's going to get rich in this hobby, in this niche, and so when you see people, on YouTube and like their videos and they have ads all the way through their videos, it's like, come on, like, do you really think you're going to make a lot of money off your videos, having a bazillion different ads running and, for like a 10-15 minute long video? Like, come on. No, and even having even this way the brush, it's pennies. It's pennies I just do it for the love of it. I'd like to throw more content onto the page, and if I was really serious about doing a Patreon thing, I would throw more of my own kind of content on here, and I'd like to do more of my own kind of stuff. But right now, everything as far as home and work and things like that, everything is pretty good. So. I'm not really one for rocking the boat. And once an equilibrium is found, you kind of try and stay with it as long as you can. Ride that for as long as you can, because, something will come along and, shake the boat kind of thing. But yeah, so to answer your question, Drewski, no, I don't do the Patreon thing. I have a Patreon account and I do follow other people on Patreon. But otherwise, no. Florist Rotard. Watch Kris is better than watching paint dry. There is a channel called Watching Paint Dry, done by a guy who's fairly local, Paul. Old mini Wargaming videos, you've probably seen him. But yeah, he has his own channel, Watching Paint Dry. But yeah, so I think that's it. We're done. Crap, it's already 10 minutes after. Still talking about Patreon. Rally. The vault is full of value for money. It's totally worth it. It's not even $50 a year. Exactly. And that's the thing. That's exactly it. The vault is totally worth what we're charging for it. And in fact, we probably are undercharging for it. Because there's just such a huge amount of video in there. Huge amount of like behind the scenes stuff. There's comedy type videos in there. All the silly videos that we do. On top of all the bat rep videos, as well as the painting videos. And there's not just painting videos by me. I mean, there's painting videos by Lester from Awesome Paint Job. But we got Blue Table Painting in there, I think we have. Austin, Brush for Hire. There's a few other ones I forget, and they'll have to forgive me. But, yeah. And I mean, no other place on the internet are you going to find a larger reservoir of painting painting videos on varying topics. Nowhere. I challenge anybody. And so far, nobody's come back saying, well, what about this place? There's nobody. And it's a marvelous time we live in that we have access to something like this. Because if I had the vault when I was a young guy, man, where would I be in my painting? Who knows? So, Lord mentions Patreon is for e-begging and professional victims. Professional victims? Yeah, is this like what's a professional victim? Anyway, But yeah, David Taylor, what about YouTube? What about YouTube? Like the money you generate from YouTube? Anybody who's like mini wargaming, okay? Mini wargaming is the biggest in YouTube land as far as wargaming is concerned, okay? And what it generates is nothing. It's like it would pay for one person to live. Yeah. It would pay for one person. That's what all of YouTube, that's all it pays, is that. So anybody who's looking to get, rich off the YouTube monies, no, you're kidding yourself. Now, YouTube is great as an advertising platform to get, getting people to notice you. It's fantastic for that, but otherwise, no. And always think of it in that regard. You use YouTube to advertise you, not to make you money. Your skills and your other things that you have to set up are what's going to make you money. David Taylor, no, I meant for tutorials. Oh, YouTube? No, I doubt it. I seriously doubt that there are that many painting tutorials on YouTube. Okay, because like quick tip videos alone are over, I think, 500. Just in quick tip videos is over 500. Not to mention all the other beginning and end videos that we have, and also on as many varied subjects like the quick tips. The quick tips are all, for the most part, they do not duplicate. Small percentage duplication, maybe 5% duplication. Some questions, because it's like painting red. Well, I've shown how to paint red like once or twice. Showed different ways, but still the same subject matter. Whereas YouTube, you might find one or two videos on painting red, but then you'll see 10 other videos showing exactly the same way. And so, yeah. It's kind of crap. Ishab, can I be a professional victim? How much should I take home? Yeah. Ishab, does that give you dental and medical? No, but we're in Canada, so that stuff's paid for. Lord of Midgets, have to be a woman with dyed hair and tattoos might be a problem. What? Anyway, I think we're done because we're talking craziness now. And yeah. So take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I'll see you guys next week in another exciting episode, in episode 106 FM. I keep grabbing the wrong damn mouse. I'm tired. Let's go get something to eat and enjoy the rest of this Saturday. Unless, of course, you're in Europe and then it's the evening, in which case, well, no, Bjorman, no, dental's not free, but anyway, that's a topic for another day. I'm getting out of here.